Okay, maybe that worked. Apparently it's working now. It just wouldn't work at all for me right now. Okay, no. Noah Finch, one of the people I followed, he did a whole Q&A thing. And I remembered a lot of his questions and I wrote them down. So, we're gonna read off my list because this is gonna help. This is purpose. The new purpose, purpose I had before of just YouTube ideas and everything. Okay, crap. I don't know. I have to. Oh, it's right here. Okay, there might be a little bit underneath here. Easy. Sorry, no, so different Q&A that he answered, and also things that I had different ideas and everything I had. Okay, so let's start out with just the first one. Let's read off the questions. Okay. What do you date? Non-binary? Or cis? Trans for attention? Fixed? Oh, that's a different combination. Different topic. Okay. And then apologies, or medically transition, or you're not trans. That was a different topic about old. There was a lot of apologize videos for a while, and I stopped following a lot of people. So I was subscribed to a lot of other just trans YouTubers and everything, non-binary YouTubers, but a lot of them had to post apologize videos and everything like that. Dang it, I don't know what the fuck's happening with my phone. It's pissing me off. Oh, this is a lot faster. Anyway, okay, let me repeat that. You know what, let's just focus on apologize for medical transition or you're not trans. Okay, so that. It was really helpful, though, for me personally. Because I was just first learning about trans people and everything, and first following them. And especially since I learned that a lot of people, at the time, yeah, around the same time I came out and everything, I learned from the YouTubers that a lot of people were fake. But then they ended up calling a lot of people, quite a few people who were actually real, fake. But I did agree with them, mostly because I just followed them and they were right, especially about this one person. I don't remember who it was, but I knew they were super fake and everything, because whenever like the new fad and everything came out, so whenever people talked about mental illness, they literally posted immediately. They were like, oh, now I have depression. Oh, I have anxiety. Oh, now, what is it? Now I'm like bipolar. Now I'm gay. Now I'm bisexual. Now I'm trans. And now I'm cis. Now I'm straight. Now, what is it? And then even that fake person, like, they went on, like, I think Dr. Phil or something one time, and they're like, oh, now I'm trans, and I was like, I don't believe any of this trash, because you're like, oh, I have multiple personality disorder, and, like, people who had been diagnosed and who had made videos just to educate people and being like, hey, this is, like, just to demonstrate and give examples and make multiple videos of being like, hey, this is something I suffer from, and this is what I know about it, so you can learn more about it, and this is an issue that some people have. Mostly just educational videos, and then they reacted to them and being like, no, this is not real. This is all trash. You just changed the tone, and you just changed the expressions you said. You're like, oh, now I'm happy, now I'm sad, now I'm angry. And all these emotions, you're like, oh, now I'm a different personality because I changed the expression and the tone of my voice. But, yeah. And that's all it was. And it was always just these short little videos, and it was just like, one video talking about it, and she didn't show any symptoms of any of these things. She would just come out as these things, and that was her whole video. She'd be like, oh, now I'm a trans. Oh, now I have multiple personality disorder, and then she'd give, like, bare minimum of being like, oh, multiple personality disorder, like, just what it was. Just a slight description of what she was talking about. But no symptoms, no proof, no evidence, no how I feel. Well, it was all how I feel, not like how I identify, and things I'm learning about myself, and being like, oh, this is when I realized this, and this, and this, and looking back at my younger self, being like, oh, this is when I had some issues, and I was struggling with something, and this is when I was like, oh, I thought maybe I was into girls, or maybe, and I would experiment with, like, different clothes I wore, and stuff like that, and maybe I thought I was a boy for a little bit, and stuff like that, but none of that was there, so I know it's fake. And they also, all YouTubers, a bunch of YouTubers, everyone who reacted to her videos, they were like, yeah, she's sick. She's just doing it for attention, especially since all of her videos are like that, and she's just switching who she's into, and her gender, and her mental illnesses on command. And there's just nothing to support it, and a lot of the things she's saying doesn't line up with what is true and what is the definition and the symptoms or any of the actual real information. And she's just spreading misinformation, and she's just acting for the attention. And it's just a mess. And then if you say anything about her, try to confront her, she just bursts into tears. She's like, you hate me so much, you're attacking me. And we're just asking questions and being like, this doesn't seem real. Can you explain more? Why doesn't what you say match up with anyone else's saying, and anyone else, and actual diagnoses and doctors say, and real medical information, or any real information? It doesn't match up whatsoever. So then I kind of just believed them when they reacted to other YouTubers. So I was a little bit wrong. I was just blindly following them. But yeah, they were just apologizing because there's a lot of people who just believe that you have to medically transition to be trans, to be like a real transition and everything. But that's different, and there's always different levels. Like, some people don't have to be like, I have to take a lot of hormones. Maybe they're more gifted. Maybe they don't need surgery, or they just don't want it. And like, maybe they just need some time to figure it out. Maybe they're not trans. Like, they just need a safe place to figure themselves out. And they don't have to jump into surgery or do hormones. They can just come out socially and just to their friends. And then if that makes them happy enough, and they don't need to do anything medically, then they don't have to. But I knew for me that wasn't the case, and it wasn't the case from them. And they looked back and they realized, yeah, I guess I'm a little bit jealous, and I wasn't really understanding, because they're not at the same level as me, and also, like, not everyone's at the point where they can, like, they don't have the resources, and they don't have any place that they can go. They don't have doctors that are nice and honest, and counselors that they can talk to. They don't have a way to get medications. They don't have a way to get surgeries. Oh yeah, I think I didn't finish my sentences before. There's only maybe two locations, which also means only 2 doctors, maybe 2 or 3 doctors, who actually know how to perform plastic surgery for trans people. In Indiana, and in the country, there's only a few anyway, just in America. And I know from other YouTubers and stuff like that, that in Europe, that they have to at least wait a year. They have a whole wait list and everything before they can get surgery. And then you even have to, like, identify for at least, like, a year or 2 as trans to even see the doctor and talk about it as an option. And then you also have to wait, like, maybe a year just to see them, to get a consultation, and then be like, oh, maybe we'll talk about surgery. And then now I have to wait, like, 2 years just to be like, oh, maybe we'll actually schedule it. They never called me back. Oh, I forgot I have to call them. That's the other thing. I need to write that down at some point. Next, like, I have a lot of doctors to call. Yeah, a lot of things to figure out. Sorry, personal issues. No, but yeah, so he's like, oh, it's not the case for all people, and, like, their body and their gender dysphoria is at different levels. Maybe they just only have to just come out and just be happy with their name and their pronouns and be okay. And happier with themselves, and maybe their haircut and their outfits, and they'll be okay. But yeah, so they mostly just had, like, apologies videos, and then I didn't really, after I realized and I learned more about that. But it was really helpful at first, because I was like, I don't know anything about trans people, and I want to know, like, what they know, and medical options, and I just want to learn more. And I want to figure out what's right for me and stuff like that, and medical transition was a must for me, and not just, like, legal name change, and having people accept you and use the right pronouns and names. I need more. More is better in that case, and I really know, because I was like, the longer I've been on testosterone, the happier I've been, and the less depressed I've been, and less anxiety, and the more happy I've been. And just improved my mental health more and more. And I hate myself just a lot less. And, like, I actually see that there's hope for a future. Oh, I can be loved. maybe I won't be alone forever. Maybe we can love ourselves fully one day. And I do love myself a little bit. Yeah, okay, sorry, that's enough about me. We were going to go to Q&A. Oh, yeah, no. Oh, yeah, okay, that was, transfer attention, fakes, apologize to mimic condition, okay. When you date a cis person, more in dead name, NJ nicknames, / nicknames. Okay, yeah. So this is a different video. Okay, sorry, I'm looking at a different option and doing that. Okay, so let's start with, when you date someone non-binary. I would, but we would obviously, it would need, like, emotional relationship for the most part, and it would be only if they, like, passed as a guy, or they were more masculine, and I thought they were a dude. Then I would date them. I would probably then go out with them if I thought they were more manly and looked like more like a dude. I wouldn't probably want to date them if they looked like a girl. And even then, we probably wouldn't be physically intimate because I'm only into guys. Like, yeah, I'm into trans guys and guys. But also, like, I would have to be not just passing, but I would have to be comfortable with my body and had to get surgery and everything before I would ever want to be intimate with someone. And then if they were trans, they would also have to, like, at least not have chest, you know, if we were ever physically intimate. But I could totally date, because, like, emotionally, love, and I really learned from me, is that emotionally, just emotional attraction and everything, you're like, oh, I like you as a person, we can be, like, close friends and stuff like that, and you'd be like, no, I'm attracted to, like, your body, and, like, I like your gender. So I was like, yeah, I'm gay, but, so I'm only physically attracted to men. I'd only ever want to be physically intimate with men and go out with men, but emotionally, I'm attracted, what is it? Not poly. Pansexual. So, I'm open to anyone. I was like, I'm willing to be friends with anyone and date anyone as long as we're just dating and we're not physically intimate. And, like, if they were non-binary, they wouldn't be okay, and I learned also, with me just using, like, because a lot of people are like, oh, they, them, and, like, he or she, but you're not supposed to just pick one, you have to use both. But you can use, like, one more than the other, because you're like, one's, like, a normal one you're used to, more familiar with, and you also, if you're not sure and everything, or you might want to be like me and be like, just to pick one, then you just go back to basics and just try and call them their name as much as possible, and just avoid pronouns just a little bit more, if they're not comfortable and everything like that. So no, I would definitely date them, but since they would be like, hey, I don't identify as male, I'd be like, I'm only attracted to men physically, so we can't be intimate, but we could date, and we'd fall in love emotionally and everything, but we just can't be physically intimate. I would date a cis person. I was like against it at first, and especially since I just wasn't sure, and I was like, oh, only trans people can love trans people and accept us and stuff like that. Yeah, no, they like understand us better and everything. And it's gonna be a different video. But yeah, I was like, I'll never, like, fully, like, a cis person's never gonna fully understand someone who's trans and someone who's non-binary. And even people who are trans and who was with someone who's trans, they don't fully understand each other because everyone's different and they have different experiences. And it's not all the same. And people who are non-binary with someone who's non-binary, they don't always understand each other. So I'm like, yeah, I can learn and develop and get a little bit better. And I still have a ways to go. But for, like, understanding, like, non-binary people, but I can only get, like, a little bit better because I'm never going to be able to actually understand you and feel what you feel because we're different people and I'm not non-binary. So I can't fully understand and can't fully relate to you, and especially not as good as someone, and especially since I haven't really been exposed to it and I've never really dealt with it. And I was just learning, like, what it was, and I didn't really have friends. Well, yeah, later my, like, best friend came out as, like, non-binary, so I just used, like, mostly just their name, and, like, they, them, mostly just their name, and I just didn't really know that much, and I just hadn't talked to a lot of people, and I don't really know people, and, like, for the most part, like, they just came out online or whatever. A sibling came out recently. Maybe not that recently, but we like mostly caught up again recently and really talked about it and everything and figured it out. And they were like, when they told me, that's when I learned. I was like, oh, I can't like pick and choose and just go by one. That's not okay. They're not comfortable with that. So I need to work on that and change that a little bit. But yeah, so I have a little ways to learn, but I'm like, I'll never, I can only get like a little bit better. A little bit goes a long way, but I'm still not going to be able to get the same point and the same level as someone who's non-binary. But with that regard, yeah, I would date someone cis, but, well, and I was like, oh, but they won't get it, but more thing about it, I'm like, yeah. And the more comfortable I'm getting with my body and the more I pass and everything like that, I'm like, oh, if they were into me, then I would date them as long as they were a guy, you know? Well, especially if we're being intimate, but otherwise, as long as they look like a guy, I'd date them. As long as they didn't identify as female, I would be willing to date them, but they had to identify as male if I was gonna be intimate with them. But yeah, I'm okay with dating a cis person, especially a little bit more than I'm just happier and more comfortable with my body. And also, I'll just get really sad and desperate, and I'll be like, anyone will take me. I'll date anyone. Just someone love me. Yeah. But yeah, I wasn't really open at first, and I was a lot more near-minded. And I was also like, I wasn't also willing to date someone who's like bisexual. That was the main thing. Mostly because like in my head, that's a real problem. Because I got in my head and I always had these imaginary relationships, and everyone was always cheating on me. And I was like, oh, it'd be really bad if they cheated on me with a girl. So I was like, I would never date someone who's bisexual. And I'm like, no, I'm willing to. I need to get past and fix the beliefs in my head that everyone's just gonna cheat on me. we fixed that a little bit, being like, you know what, just they call it an open relationship. So there's no cheating. But, and then also just make it clear if you do date someone and they're bisexual or pansexual or whatever, just being like, you can like date or like see other people along with me. So since at first we'll probably like maybe be dating, but we'll probably just end up as friends anyway. And I already believe you're gonna leave me for someone better, so you're probably gonna break up with me. But you can't leave me for a girl. That's just the big thing. You can't leave me for a girl because I'm a little bit better mentally, but I'm still working on it. Because if you cheated on me with a girl and everything, then you'd be like, oh, I thought of you as a girl this entire time, and I never thought of you a boy, and I just pretended that I cared about you and I liked you, and then I validated who you were and that I liked you. But I somehow found out that you were a girl in the past, and it's just a fetish or some crap, so I dated you. Even if that's not the case, I'll probably believe that. So I'll be like, yeah, now I hate you, you know? Just very negative. Okay, sorry. We got a little bit too deep. Calm down. Okay, let's talk about dated cis person. Oh yeah, I talked about this a little bit, but I'll get into it a little bit more. About, more in Dead Name, they talked about that. Okay, actually I'm gonna skip that right now. Let's go out, like, MJ and nicknames. Cause I was like, my name's also, like, really short and everyone thinks it's, like, a nickname. So most of my nicknames, actually, now that I'm Max, they're like Maximilian, Maximus. They just make my name longer, and I'm like, you can call me whatever, it's fine. So since you don't know my dead name, so you can't call me that, haha. And then I was even cool with something that was closer to my old nickname, B. I was like, that was cute, I was fine with that. And I tried to shorten my name even shorter, so I used my middle and last name. Nope, middle and first name. So MJ, but then I'm like, that sounds way too much like MJ from Spider-Man, and I was like, that's probably where I heard it, probably where the nickname came from. But unfortunately, I'll probably think about that all the time, so I should probably drop that. I only used it for a little bit, and it was mostly just trying to pick a nickname at that point. No one uses it, and I'm like, yeah, I just need to let go. Let it go. I mostly have. I forgot about it for the most part until I wrote it down. Now I'm remembering it. And then I had, like, I used to go, I had a shortened name, Beth for a while, for my dead name. like in Elizabeth, and like, I used to be called, people thought my name was like Stephanie and Elizabeth and stuff like that. Whatever. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna look at the comments, so I'm not gonna do that. That's why I was like, I'm gonna tell you, my nickname that's really close to my dead name, Beth, because I'm gonna tell and promise myself that I'll never look at comments ever, so I won't be triggered. Yeah, no, but more my dead name, like, I was always, like, just writing suicide notes in my notebook, so I just basically wrote a suicide note for my dead name. I'd be like, you can now die and rest in peace, okay, buddy? Just rest in peace. Go to sleep and never return. You were a big part of me, but now we can be happy, because you were never happy. You were never happy. You were sad, miserable, and depressed, and you were bullied your entire life, and you didn't have any friends. And for a long time, I would just blame it all on my old name, my dead name. I'd be like, it's their fault. It's old me's fault. Just blame it all on them. So, yeah, no. I wasn't really sad about it. It was a big deal. It just took a little while to mostly figure out my identity, and then it took a little bit longer. Well, mostly when I was figuring that out, I picked out a name. And yes, Max, for the most part, is from Grinch, his pet dog. Yeah. I did get it because it's like my favorite movie and everything like that. Okay, no. With more dead names and things like that. Since I like, and like old pronouns and like, I'll call myself like a girl and like different, she, her, those pronouns when I'm talking about my past self. Because I was like, when I was little, I didn't know when I was a girl. I was like, in my head, I was a boy, but we didn't know that yet, so I was still a girl. And that's just not triggering for me. It hasn't been. I get, like, and I'll talk about my friends and family and stuff, and I'll use, like, they're, like, dead, and, like, call them girl, even though they're not anymore. And use, like, their old dead names and their old pronouns. Because I'm talking about their past selves, and I hope that they get that. But I understand that they might not be ready for it, but hopefully that they are in the future. But to me, it doesn't feel like it's a big deal, and I should probably do more something about that. But I don't know how to fix that right now. I don't think I'll be able to, because I'll be like, especially since I'll be like, to keep it straight and everything, to know who I'm talking about, and especially if I'm talking about the past, then I'll be like, yeah, you were a girl, so I can just figure out who was who and who am I talking about. But yeah. Okay, I think that's everything. Yeah, okay, hopefully that's everything. That was a different idea. Counting short order, I can't. We talked about a little bit about reading. I kind of covered that in a different video. Sorry, that should be everything. Bye.